Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Chris and Carly back again, and today we wanted to do kind of a quick update video, right? Or maybe not even an update video, more as a things that we're currently learning video, and obviously we want to bring you guys along for the ride. So if you watched a couple of weeks ago, we did an update video on Cutie, which is our piebald ball python. She had shed. I was out of town at the time. Carly found her shed, which we'll talk about just a minute when we pull Cutie out. But what I wanted to show you is, and talk about, is some of the things that I remember seeing prior to when Cutie shed, and not just the going into blue and the dulling of colors, but really more in her behavior and some of the things that we saw there, because all of a sudden now I'm seeing that in Bubbles, which is our clown female. And so what I wanted to do was just do, like I said, do a quick video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull Cutie out, and I'm gonna show you Cutie, and you know, how she reacts and all those type of things, and then we'll pull Bubbles out. I don't want to have Bubbles out too much because I don't want her to be, really stressed, right? That would be bad for her. But I do want you to see, especially if you're new to the hobby, maybe some things that you can look for whenever your snakes are about to shed. Okay guys, so we've pulled Cutie out. Now Cutie's in her hide. Obviously I'm not gonna mess with her too much. I think she might be a little cold, but I wanna show you. So here's Miss Cutie. Miss Cutie's all cooled up. She's gonna be mad at me. You're okay. Oh, yep, there she goes. So this is Cutie's MO. She balls up into a ball. We get her out, and in a couple of minutes, she's good to go, okay? So one of the things about Cutie, when she shed, and I think y'all saw this on the video, and we'll put a link to it at the end of this video, but Cutie, she got very dull in color, like you would typically think to see. Her eyes they hazed up a little bit. I think Carly was the one that actually saw it when her eyes got a little cloudy when she went into blue, but it wasn't a very deep blue. But you can see now she's pretty good. She's alert. She handles very easily, right? Once we get her out, she's really good. And Bubbles, for the most part, does the same thing when we get her out. Okay, so we show you here. Here's a ball python. She's used to being handled. She's shed, she's done her thing, okay? But what I want to show you now is Bubbles, and I want to show you kind of the difference that we're seeing. So we'll be back in just a second with Miss Bubbles. Okay guys, so now we're back and we've pulled Bubbles out. You can see we've got the enclosure set up the exact same way. What I want you to specifically pay attention to is how she reacts when I pull the hide off, number one. Now Bubbles is typically a little more timid when being picked up, but she doesn't usually react like Cutie. So you saw Cutie rolls up into a ball. Bubbles doesn't typically do that. She'll get a little rigid. She'll act like she kind of doesn't want to be picked up. But if she reacts the same way she did earlier, I want you to watch. All right, so we've got her. All right, so hey. So, okay, look how jumpy she is. Now, she's typically not that jumpy. Just watch her. See, she's hiding her head. She's getting a little rigid, okay? That's okay. All right, sweetie. Now you can see she looks pretty dull, okay? But just, now she's probably gonna react okay. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Did you see? So she is not typically like that. Now ball pythons, just as a species, are head shy. But watch her, I mean, she's really agitated. Look at her, see, this is not a snake. This is not a snake that necessarily is enjoying what's going on, okay? She's searching, she's not liking it. Now, you can kind of get a picture of her eye there, little cloudy, not necessarily a deep blue, but what I wanted you to pay attention to, guys, is really more just the behavior of her. See, look, she's wanting down. She's wanting down like right now. Oh, see? And I shouldn't have done that, that was my fault. Okay, sweetie, you're all right. Here, let's go back in there. And she is 100% in flight mode the second that I picked her up. And she's not like that. She's actually very good. As soon as you get her up, she is very good at being held, and actually doesn't take as long as Cutie usually to kind of get things going. So, okay, guys. So hopefully you saw there, and it was actually kind of interesting. When I'd gotten Cutie out a little bit earlier prior to shooting this video, she was even more animated in how quickly she was quick to pull her head back, and just really unsure of her surroundings. So, you know, think about when snakes are going into shed. So their eyes, you know, and I think we kind of saw a little bit with Bubbles, but their eyes that you don't see here with Cutie will get very glossy, right? And just kind of shade over, whether they're in blue or not. So they go into blue, then they'll lose that, and then right before they shed again, the eyes will get a little bit more hazy. But you can see typically very, and like I said, although ball pythons are head shy as a species, see, just head shy as a species, we've actually worked really a long time. You know what? The 2 months that we've had this, we get them out almost every single day. We're handling them. We want them to understand what we are, that we're not here to hurt them. And they're really not all that head shy once we get them out. Not that we grab their heads or anything like that. A ball python's probably never going to let you do that. But for the most part, they're not very head shy. And so what I think that we're seeing, and like I said, it's what I saw with Cutie right before she shed. I think we're seeing it with Bubbles, is just kind of that different behavior, right? And why it's really, really important to ensure that you're spending time with your animals, that you understand how they react normally, so that when something seems a little off, you know maybe what to look for. Now, if she doesn't shed here in the next couple of days, it's going to be, you know, it may be something else, right? But it's very, very similar to what Cutie did. It's just way too similar for me to think that it's not going to be the fact that she's about to shed, right? So definitely things to look for. Again, they're going to dull in color a little bit. Their eyes are going to gloss over. But with Cutie, it actually wasn't that deep. She didn't go into a really deep blue.
Yeah, her eyes just got the teeniest bit of...
Yeah, just the teeniest bit cloudy, right? But, oh, be careful. The teeniest bit cloudy, and it wasn't like, you know, some of the things that you may see on YouTube where they're really dulled out and their eyes just look super foggy. You know, with hers being the dark color, we just really didn't see it with her. So it was a very kind of light blue, a very kind of light shed cycle, I guess, if you want to call it that. But her behavior when we got her out one night, it was just different. And it was a lot of very tentative about her head. I didn't even have to really be close to her head, not even coming out of her face. Man, she was pulling back, kind of a little bit what we saw with Bubbles. So anyways, so hopefully, you know, as you're new to the hobby or maybe even experienced in the hobby and you just see different things with your snakes, it's really just an idea of getting back to the basics of understanding your snakes, knowing their behavior so that you know when something's different. So with that, we're going to turn it over for our fun fact for today. And Carly, what's our fun fact?
So, like you said, when they are going into shed, they will dullen in color and their eyes will get cloudy.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that will happen when they are going into shed, they won't typically eat.
Yeah, so they can go off food, and I think it's probably, now I'm not a ball python psychologist by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm sure it has something to do with, you know, just that, you know, not being able to see very well, being very apprehensive of their surroundings. Now, one of the things I will say, Cutie, when she was going into shed, one of the things I forgot to mention, hanging out in their hide a lot. Like, not even coming out really at night. So on top of just that different behavior of their head kind of flying back, just not coming out of their hide almost at all. And so you'll notice that's, you know, Bubbles, that's where Bubbles has been the past few days. She did come out to eat on Saturday. Cutie actually ate. And so when I didn't really know what I was looking at with Cutie, I actually just pulled her hide off, stuck the rat down there, and she took it, ate it, and was fine, and shed 2 days later. Yeah. So hopefully we're not going to have that issue with our girls.
Yeah, she did really well.
She did really well in her shed, and Bubbles, like I said, assuming she sheds here in the next few days, she is eating kind of through a shed cycle. And so, but one of the things to just be cognizant of is if your ball python is going into shed and you're seeing kind of some of these different behaviors, you're seeing the visual things as far as the cloudy eyes and the dulling in color, possibility that they may not eat on their next at their next meal. So so good fun fact. So anyway, so hopefully this helps you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.